From Falcon Books Publishing, and here today our very special guest and author is William Mistele. So wonderful to have you here today.
Thank you.
And we've flown over to Hawaii, in Honolulu, in Waikiki. So here we are in Waikiki at this moment. And it's so wonderful to be able to see you in your home environment, and great to be here and for us to meet up as well. It's been a long time waiting. So for today, first of all, I'd like to discuss with you a little bit about Hawaii, why you came here, and some of your experiences as well being here from a magical standpoint. What is it like, and what is it to expect from Honolulu?
So I had already been studying with the Bardon tradition, and my first night, we visited all the islands. My first night on the Big Island, I had a dream in which Pele appeared to me. She's the goddess of the volcano on the Big Island. And she said to me, she appeared in a waterfall, which is very interesting. And she said to me that I should not try to contact the local kahuna because they were all very angry at the Westerners for being here and taking their islands from them. It turned out a local who was from the Kahuna tradition said to me, Pele is also known as a goddess of waterfalls. So my dream was accurate for him. So I took her advice. I haven't really worked with local nature spirits as much. The Bardon elementals, which he mentions in the second book of his, are global in nature. They're concerned with the ecology of the entire planet. Local spirits tend to be have a connection to a specific culture, like in Ireland or Scotland, Germany, and they're not as universal or as broad or deep in their scope as what Bardon would have us study with. So if a hurricane was coming and I wanted to meditate on the hurricane, I wasn't using any local magic, although I had studied with people who tried to teach the Kahuna method. So that was a very important part of my beginning. Before I studied Bardon, I took the concept from Kahuna, which I was taught, and I visualized the Isis card, the Fool card, and the Magician card. And each day I'd spend a half hour on each card, imagining I was the card. And so what should pop up are 3 books of Bardon, each one dedicated to a different tarot card. So I had that kind of connection to Bardon right from the beginning, which was based on this Hawaiian practice, which someone had managed to do what I'm trying to do, universalize, rather than accept or adopt the beliefs of the local religion. You take from it what is useful for everybody.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the Kahuna tradition and what exactly is it? Sort of more sort of tribal sort of way of doing things rather than sort of more of a magician?
Well, I haven't met. Maybe I met one Kahuna, but so I don't know a lot firsthand.
Right.
These are very skilled people. They had a very great level of magic. They had a whole university over in Lanai, or one of the islands. So, so that tradition was very powerful. But the friend I had here, who I was learning the Qigong from and related to Taoism, he was half Hawaiian. And when Kahunas would meet him, they'd say, "Oh, you have all the nature spirits of Hawaii around you. You should study to be a Kahuna." But his uncle, who was a Kahuna, had been involved in attacks with other Kahunas on other islands. So to each island chief, you could say, there was a Kahuna or a set of Kahunas who would defend them psychically. Right. And they would fight with physical wars, so naturally they would use magic as well. So you had to protect your chief, you know. So he didn't want anything to do with that, so he became a Christian because Christians don't engage in psychic warfare.
Absolutely. Okay, that's fascinating. Absolutely, really interesting.
So I had no connection to the local spirits. When I was working with it, wrote my book on the mermaids, the Undines, I'd go to the beach, but it would be one of the Bardon spirits I would call, and that spirit would show up.
Right.
So there wasn't any conflict between me and Hawaii, because my real goddess is the planet Earth itself. So and she nurtures all beings, all paths of life. So I feel comfortable with everybody.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That was lovely. Now, I'd like to also address some of the questions before we went to ask questions on students of Franz Bardon, and specifically for this interview. So let's go ahead and move on with these questions as well. So first of all, we have question number one is, do elemental beings have an independent or objective existence outside of your mind?
And that would be based, again, the whole Bardon system is based on first-hand experience.
Yeah.
So it's up for you. It's up to you to make your own decisions on that.
Yeah.
For a magician who can see spirits and interact with them easily, or for a natural medium, like some of the people we know, talking to a spirit or a departed soul, a dead person, is easy and exactly the same as talking, like between you and me.
Yeah.
They can reach out and touch.
Yeah.
They can interact. They can talk back and forth. They can, even more, they're telepathic. They can share memories and dreams and feelings together. So in that sense, if I'm doing ethnography and I'm interviewing someone, I say, what is your experience? Have you had any unusual experiences? Have you had any unusual dreams? Have you met any spirits? And someone may say, well, my grandfather who died, he shows up, we argue all night, and I wake up in the morning as if I didn't have any sleep, But for her grandfather is a spirit that's real. Now, you could say it's made up, it's hallucination, but that's someone outside interpreting something from their presuppositional system. The actual person, for that individual, it's real. So for me, the elemental beings I write about are real, but I'm not an evangelist. I'm not trying to sell that point of view to anybody. It's just a summary of my experience. I tell people for the last 20, 30 years, I do not use thoughts to think. If she asks me a question, I can go directly into the perception of the sensations, the memory, the experience. And when I start using words, I'm trying to describe what I've experienced as something I can share with other people. I'm not trying to go from some theological or philosophical system or metaphysics and say, oh, mermaids are no good. They're just, down here. And I have to use my own experience. These are absolutely fabulous beings. When I give this example in my book, when I first touched the Aura Vistaful, one of the mermaid queens, I said to myself, I'll never meet a woman this beautiful. It was just a shocking experience. But, you got to look at it in context. 30 years later, I have different experiences since then.
I want to ask you a question, actually, relating to your work with the elementals. You seem to focus a lot on the undyings. Why is that?
And so my response is that they're all equally important to me. And I have a stronger connection to Cargoste, this sylph spirit, than I have to any of the mermaids. And the fire spirits are like brothers.
Right.
And the earth gnomes are like, let's hang out together. So the sylphs will actually bug me and say, how come you're not spending more time with us? It's the mermaids, though, when I study them, it's like there's nothing like this in culture, religion, or history, or literature. Nothing like it. Humans, when they write about mermaids, they're making it up. They have no direct experience. So it's like, whoa! The human race in its evolution has ignored the water element. When I teach water meditation, it's like, I don't know anyone else on earth who's doing anything like this. So it's what's missing. The weakest area is what you want to focus on the most if you want balance. If you're trying to be creative and produce something, accomplish something, manifest something, you want the yin and the yang. You want the willpower and the knowledge, but you also want the commitment to work, which is the earth element, and you need the empathy and the feeling. You need to get right in there and heal people and discover what their deepest feelings are and what makes them feel most alive. You can't get that without the water element. So that's why I'm working on the water. The whole human race is 98% electrical. We turn on the car ignition, the light, the toaster, the refrigerator, send a spaceship into space, create a laser weapon, a supersonic missile, an atomic bomb. That's all fire and electricity. There's no, I'm going to fill the earth with love. I'm going to conquer the world. Oh, there's the male, the yang, the electrical, the power. But there's no, I love everyone on earth, and I can become one with them and feel their deepest dreams and heal them of all their wounds. I don't get that. Why? That should be there right up there with the dictators as the healer. So that's why I'm just trying to catch up.
Okay. So for you then, focusing on the water element the reason is because you feel there's a lack of that in the world, and therefore you want to sort of readdress that balance.
Yeah, I definitely need the balance to proceed with magic.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think also in the future as well, we'd like to do some more. I'd like to also bring people also to Bill also does the 4 elements as well, so he can do meditations on all the 4 elements, and I think it'd be really nice. In the future we do that as well for everyone. I think it's really important.
Sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later. Maybe tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, we've actually worked on a couple of the elements, and I wanted to say as well, I went with Bill. Bill took me through the water element, and it was a very interesting experience. And I think the way that you describe it is very unique. And for anyone who's had any difficulty tapping into the elements, it's a fantastic technique, and it's really accessible as well. So I think anyone who's sort of really having difficulty with that will benefit from it, because he separates. Not only does he take you through he takes you through mental, the astral, the physical, and also separates even electric and magnetic as well, which is often you don't really hear that much at all. So for me, that was really useful. I found it very beneficial actually. So yeah, so I think we will definitely, if next other videos you will see, we'll be able to focus on those, on all the elements as well.
That's your 10 minutes. Very well. Take a break.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. Catch up with you.